Hare Krishna, welcome devotees to the Gita Daily session. Thanks for the devotees who are joining regularly. Today we are discussing Bhagavad Gita, Sloka number 7 from chapter 15. So let's take the blessings of the Lord, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maya, Sudarshan, Lakshmi, Narasimha, Gaurnitai, Panchatattva. Let's pray that by their blessings we shall understand the transcendental topics of Bhagavad Gita. So let's recite the prayers together. Please repeat along with me. Om Adnanajamirantasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Nidinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll dedicate a session to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, by whose mercy we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita and also able to apply in a practical way in our day-to-day life. So let's thank Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today's shloka is 15.7. Please repeat after me. ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. Repetition. ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातना मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Word meaning? Mama, my, Eva, certainly, Amsha, fragmental particle, Jiva Loke, in the world of conditioned life, Jiva Buddha, the conditioned living entity, Sanadana, eternal, Manaha, with the mind, Shashtani, the six, Indriyani, senses, Prakriti, in the material nature, Sthani, situated, Karshadi, is struggling hard. So, translation again. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Let's look at the sloka in more detail. So, just setting the context. So, we are discussing now the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Right? And then we have seen a couple of shlokas also earlier. So, today we are discussing the shloka number 15, sixth shloka. Sorry, the last we discussed the sixth shloka of Bhagavad Gita, right? From 15th chapter. So, that shloka was Natad Bhashayado Suryo Na Shashango Na Pavaga Yad Gatvana Nivartande Tadama Paramam Mama. So, what we saw in the last shloka, the Lord was giving a glimpse or hints about the qualities of a spiritual world, right? We saw that the spiritual world is the Paramdam, right? Is a topmost abode, the Lord says. And what is the quality? Lord indirectly says that no, these spiritual planets are self-illuminating. They are Vaikuntha planets, and that doesn't need like our material world. It doesn't need like sun, moon, fire, or electricity for illumination. And we also saw from Brahma Samhita some glimpses of the spiritual world. Also, we saw from Srimad Bhagavatam, so about the Vaikuntha planets. So we got some idea about the spiritual world, and we also saw why it is important to understand this knowledge, right? Because when we get information about a place, the details, then we start we start developing an attachment for that place, and we may develop the desire to go to that place. So this could the highest desire that a jiva can have in this material world is the desire to go back to his original place, right, where he belongs, and engage in the service of the Lord. So this way it actually connects with our understanding of the topic, until now what we discussed. So today what Krishna is saying is that mamai vamsho jivaloke jiva buddha sanatana manashashtan indriyani prakritisani karshadi. So this sloka we have examined earlier in different contexts. So we look at it in more detail. So here there are two important aspects which Krishna is saying. One is we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Right? So that is one part. And second part is that we are struggling in this material world because we are separated from the Lord. So the gist of the shloka is that when we are connected with the Lord, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, the part can always be happy when it is associated with the whole. And in that state, the jiva can be really happy. It can find the eternal happiness. And when we are separated from the Lord, when we forget the Lord, then actually we are influenced by Maya. And by the design, Maya actually keeps the jiva struggling in this material world because it is illusion and it thinks that no, he is the body. And because of this false identity, the jiva struggles because he doesn't know that he is part of. He has a very rich father who actually who can help him, and he is wandering in the material world, struggling because of the three modes of material nature, sattva, raja, and tamas. He becomes influenced by them, and he keeps on accumulating karma. That and becomes more and more entangled, and he suffers because of the senses and the mind. So this is the essence of this sloka. So we'll just look at the keywords. Mama eva amsha. No, Krishna says the jiva is certainly my part and parcel, right? So mama eva amsha. So, but then the part is we are very minute, and the Lord actually is very huge, very unlimited, and we are limited, right? Then Sanatana, he says that the jiva is Sanatana, is eternal. We have seen in second chapter how the jiva is eternal, right? So, na jayade mriyare va kadachit, na yam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya, ajo nityam shashroyam purana, na hanyade hanyamane sharire. So, the qualities of jiva we have seen in second chapter. So, if somebody missed, they can look at the recording, right? But essentially, the point is that the jiva is eternal, right? So, and also it implies that our nature, eternal nature, our nature as the individual soul is eternal also. It is not that we were actually we were merged with the Lord, and future will merge. It is not that. The identity of jiva is always eternal. It will always remain. Then manas shashtan indriyani. So shashta means six. So we have the six senses, which actually includes the mind. So we know about the five senses generally. We have discussed it earlier, right? Like the eyes, nose, hear, smell, touch, etc. And along with that, the mind also is considered as the king of the senses, or the full controller of the senses. So this way the mind is also considered as one of the senses. So six senses are mentioned here, right? And prakriti sthani karshadi. So what actually the jiva is doing? Karshadi is struggle. It's a constant struggle for the jiva in the material world. You always know he's struggling for his existence, and he's struggling to find happiness. But then always know he's actually frustrated because the design is like that. So we have seen, previously, recently we saw that how the material world is like a reflection of the spiritual world, right? And it talks about the tree which is eternal, a banyan tree. What we see in the material world is a reflection of the real tree. And the real tree is having fruits which are very palatable and enjoyable, but in the reflection we cannot enjoy that fruit. We cannot pluck the fruit from the reflection. So whatever attempts we make in the material world to pluck the fruit and enjoy, it is always frustrated. It will never be successful. So these things we need to understand from the Lord's explanation. So let's more detail. So what are the key points we can understand? So first thing is that what is our identity? We have seen in the second chapter about it, right? So here we can further little more go in deeper. So what is who am I? This is the first fundamental question we need to ask, right? A person who is inquisitive or who is seeking the absolute truth or the topmost knowledge, you should first ask, who am I? Right? So it is mentioned Atado Brahma Jitnasa. The question about Brahman, right? What is our real identity? So this is the question of an intelligent person. And what is the answer actually? The answer is that I am the jiva, I am the soul, I am Atma, I am not this body, right? This is the real understanding. And I am so the understanding is complete only when we say I am Atma, but part and parcel of Krishna. So independently, this Atma doesn't have any existence. Right? This Atma have only existence and meaning when actually it is associated with the Supreme Lord. And what is the relationship with the Lord? Actually, is to serve the Lord because the jivas are existing. Lord actually, have the jivas exist eternally for the enjoyment of the Lord. So the Lord actually, who was one, expanded in various ways, right? For actually variety and enjoyment, right? So the Lord has actually the primary expansions of Lord are known as Swamsha. Right? There are fundamentally two categories, Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. The Swamsha are the direct expansions of the Lord, which are the various Vishnu Tattvas, the various expansions of the Lord we have seen earlier, right? So all the various incarnation, like like Lord Rama, Varaha, Nrsimhadev, Matsya, Kurma. So these are all these Vishnu Tattvas, they are primary expansion. They are Swamsha. So they have the full potency of the Lord. Whereas Jivas are called Vibhinnamsha because they are known as separated expansion. No, they are part and parcel of the Lord, but they are eternally separated. But then they have the same qualities of the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord's main quality are Sachidananda, right? So Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So Sat, eternal, eternity, Chit, knowledge, and bliss, right? Sat, Chit, and Anand. So eternally, this is the quality of the Supreme Lord, and the jivas who are fragmental part and parcel of the Lord also has the same quality of Sachidananda. But then the potency is very limited. So the jivas are called Anu, and the Supreme Lord is called Vibhu. So the jiva has all these qualities in very minute amount, but the Supreme Lord has the quality in infinite quantity. And when the jiva engages and it restores his lost relationship with the Lord, which actually is to serve the Lord. It is mentioned Jivara Surabhaya Krishna and Nityadas. Right? So this is a constitutional position of the jiva is to serve the Lord. And in that constitutional position, the jiva regains his Ananda quality. So all the Sachidananda quality, which primarily the Ananda, the eternal bliss that the jiva gets when he serves the Lord. So that is the constitutional position, and that is eternal nature of the jiva, to be eternally happy. So that is where the jiva in the material world also it tries constantly to find this lost happiness. He's searching everywhere and trying various activities and various endeavors to find that happiness which actually is not able to find. But we can practically verify this by engaging in service of the Lord. So when we do any service of the Lord, right? When we engage in devotional service, immediately we can start feeling that happiness, which is coming back. We can only get a jalak or a glimpse of the happiness. And the more and more we make progress in the devotional service bhakti, the more we are restoring our lost relationship with the Lord, then we find the happiness increasing. The more and more happiness we can find in that stage. So this way we can experiment by performing devotional service, which starts with chanting of the holy name. Right. So this is the point. So now, why do the jiva struggle in the material world? Because he is of the mainly primary reason of the struggle. It is mentioned as avidya, or or the false identification with the body. Right. This is actually the nature. So we have to understand that the Lord actually, who is supreme controller of everything, supreme creator of everything, is the most intelligent. Right. And it is. We should not think that okay, the material world is running automatically without any influence. Because sometimes people think no, there are so many problems in the material world, so many unfair things happen, right? So why, if God is there, why all these unfair things happen? This is because of ajnana, or no, or ignorance, because the Lord actually has designed his material world in this way so that the jiva becomes frustrated, and then he finds why he is struggling, and gradually becomes purifies, find a way back to his original position. So the material world is dukhalem ashashwadam by design and not by accident. And by that same design, the jiva becomes illusion. When it comes into the material world, his original intelligence is covered by Maya's potency. And the jiva forgets his identity and thinks that he is the soul. Sorry, he is the body. Right? And because he thinks that I am this body, then he identifies with the body, thinking that I am XYZ person, I am a male or I am a female. So the jiva is neither a male nor a female. Right? The jiva is actually servant of the Lord. So, and he thinks various identities, various upadhis. These are called upadhis. So he thinks that I am the husband, I am the wife, no, I am the father, I am the mother, right? I am the manager, I am the controller of this, I am the owner of this house. So all these upadhis or designations are false because he identifies with the body, he thinks all these things. But actually, we are neither of them because we are temporary. No, very simple way we can understand that these identities last only during the lifetime, right? As soon as the person leaves the body, all these identities are lost, right? But then the scripture says that when a person dies, that is not the end of his journey. He again takes another body according to his karma and desire. Karmana deva netrena. So the jiva takes another body, and in the next life he has a new set of designations. No, like say I am an Indian. Next, like no, I may become American. I may become an Ugandan, whatever it is, right? And I may not be a human being next time. I may become a worm in the stool, or I may become a hog or a dog. So, based if my karma is poor, very very bad, I am a very sinful person, then I may get an animal body. Right? This way, the jiva's identity is temporary, right? And because of this identity, the jiva struggles. When he thinks that he is an insect, no, then he struggles in that body of insect, right? So this way, the jiva's bondage is eternal in the material. As long as the jiva doesn't take up the spiritual path, eternally he'll keep suffering, taking birth, death, repeated birth and death. No, and it not even ends no in the day of Brahma, right? One day of Brahma is one breath of Mahavishnu. That is like 311 311 trillion years, 40 billion years. So even at the end of Mahavishnu's withdrawal of cosmic manifestation, jiva's karma doesn't end. All the jivas goes and rests in the body of Mahavishnu in a dormant stage, and then again in the next creation, again it again continues from the point. So basically, it is not possible to get out of the cycle of birth and death, right? Unless and until we take the spiritual path. So this way, the jiva is struggling, The Lord is explaining, no, with the mind and its five senses, because the five senses are the fundamental cause. They are the windows to the our existence, right? Through the five senses, the jiva acquires various stimuli. The jiva becomes, entangled, because when he sees some nice thing, you want to enjoy that. When you smell some nice thing, you want to taste it, or so this way the senses keep giving inputs various and keeps troubling the jiva, and the mind actually is, continuously behind all these, inputs, and the mind keeps on thinking that, okay, I will enjoy this, I will enjoy that, and continuously become more and more entangled. For example, when the boy when a person is a small child, right, he or she thinks that, no, I will become happy when I grow up, right, and he thinks that when he become youth, right, he thinks that if I get married, I'll be happy. Then he gets married. Then after marriage, the entanglement increases, because now he has to take care of his, spouse, children, in-laws, parents. Then he gets a job, he becomes struggling in the job, so many problems in the job. So this way the jiva's entanglement keeps increasing, as and when he becomes a servant of the senses, so that way. So actually it is mentioned that we should become the master of the senses. So Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. So when we uses the senses in the service of the Lord, right? The senses of the Lord is Rishikesha, the Supreme Lord. So when we use the senses in the service of the Lord, then gradually we becomes free from the becoming the servant of the senses. This way we can actually elevate to the higher platform. So one more analogy which is given to understand, so that we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna, but we are limited. So there are a few examples, analogies given, no? Like how a gold ring and a gold mine is there. So the gold ring has all the qualities of the gold mine, but in a very limited potency. So similarly, the spark of fire, right? So when there is a huge fire, there are small sparks which actually, falls away from the fire, and when it becomes disconnected from the fire, the sparks actually lose its shine. No, it actually becomes extinguished, it loses its potency. So similarly, the jivas are spiritual. We are all spiritual parts. Chitkana it is called, and part of the Supreme Lord, who is the supreme fire. And when we become separated from the Lord, then the spiritual spark actually becomes diminished, and our potency diminishes. But again, when we start engaging in the devotional service, and we are the spark is ignited. No, see, but at the point is that we are like very limited sparks, and we don't have the potency when we are independent, separated from the Lord. So this way, we can understand how we are same and different from the Lord. So, so we are same in quality, but in limited in quantity. So this is known as no achintya beda beda tattva. But essentially, the point is that there are different philosophical arguments or no schools of thought. Like no, there is Advaitavad, this Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, Achintya beda beda. So these have slight differences, no, in understanding what is the relationship between the jiva and the supreme Lord, right, and Brahman and Parabrahman, or jiva and no, Paramatma. So, but essentially, the understanding of from the acharyas, the summary is that we are actually similar in quality with the Lord, but limited in quantity. But we have the similar qualities, and we are always eternal. We are always independent. In doesn't not independent, not in that way, but we are always have the identity. We retain the identity. Right? We never merge completely with the Lord, no, and lose our identity. So these are some of the key points we need to understand. Okay, so let us look at one allegory today. So, so allegory actually, is not a real story, but a story which is an example, which will give us some idea about the concept, certain concepts. So this story is known as Puranjana Akyana, which actually comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. So here the context is that Narad Muni is speaking to a king known as Prajina Barhi. Right? The Prajina Barhi was a king who was actually following the Karma Kanda. No, he was completely engrossed in performing various sacrifices and fruitive activities, right? And then he was also doing animal sacrifices. So Narad Muni took mercy on Prajina Barhi and instructed him. So first he gives an allegory, a story, right? And to give him the idea, what actually he was trying to convey. So what is the allegory? Let us look at it. So Narad Muni tells about a person called Puranjana. He told that there lived a king called Puranjana, and he was searching for an enjoyment. So he was wandering, and after wandering, he finds a city with 9 gates, and then he meets a queen, beautiful queen, and he becomes captivated, and he becomes controlled by the queen. And the queen had 10 attendants, 10 servants, right? And then through this, through the city, the Puranjana was experiencing the world. No, he was enjoying here, and there was a powerful five-hooded serpent which was guarding the city, right? And uh, one day there was an attack on the city, and the city was seized, right? And the attack, who attacked the city at the time, the factor of time or Kala attacked the city, And by the attack, the serpent becomes weakened, and all the gates failed, and the city collapsed. Right. So this is an allegory. And then finally, the Puranjana, after his death, Puranjana was reborn as a woman because he was too much attached to the queen. He became a woman in the next life. And and an unknown friend finally comes to Puranjana, and he gives the transcendental knowledge, and then Puranjana actually becomes liberated. So this is the allegory which Narada Muni tells. So basically, Narada Muni is trying to tell that this Puranjana is none other than Pajina Marhi himself. And let us see what are the mappings of the allegory. So the the Puranjana is actually Puranjana is Pajina Marhi actually is representing the Jiva, the soul. And the city of nine gates is the human body. The body, our body has nine holes, right? And the city actually of human body, the city of nine gates is the human body. And the queen is the mind. The mind is the queen, which actually is controlling the jiva by various. It gives various ideas and suggestions, right? And the 10 attendants of the queen are the five knowledge acquiring senses and five working senses. So knowledge acquiring senses we know no, already, and the working senses like hand, legs, like that, genitals, anus, so like that. There are five working. So 10 senses are the 10 attendants of the mind of the queen, right? And through this actually body, the jiva is experiencing the world. No, he goes through various experiences. The five-hooded serpent is guarding the city, is the life air or the prana of the jiva, right? And then gradually what happened to Puranjana actually forgets his real identity. He thinks that I am this city. The city is everything, right? So sometimes we identify with the car, right? So similarly, the Puranjana identifies with the body, right? And then as he progresses, he becomes more and more attached. And then various emotions comes, like he becomes happy. Sometimes he becomes happy. Sometimes he becomes sad. Sometimes he is fearful about death, right? Whether somebody will attack the city, and then gradually he becomes fully under the control of the queen, who is the mind, right? And the time factor is actually the enemy which attacks the king, right? In the form of old age, disease, and death, right? So this way, the body is attacked when we become old, and because of the attack, the life air becomes weakened, and and gradually the body gives up, right? The organs start giving up, the gates are failing, and finally the body collapses, the city collapsed, and whatever the attachment the jiva has at the time of death, right? Accordingly, it gets the next body. Because Puranjana was attached too much attached to the queen, he took the birth of a woman in the next life. And the unknown friend actually who is guiding is the Paramatma, which actually is sitting in the heart of the Jiva. So this way, the city of nine gates and allegory actually is explained by Narad Muni. So we'll come, with that we come to the end of our time. Let's try to wrap up what we learned today. So what is the summary or takeaway for us to understand is that we should understand that the material world, is a place of is designed to be like this. It is not by accident or by chance. No, all these things are happening. But then because we don't know the big picture of how karmic cycle is working, how things are, how the universal order is attained, we actually misunderstand and think that everything is automatic. There is no God. But we need to understand that it is by design. It's a place of Dukhalayam Shashvatam. We have seen the allegory of example of jail, right? How the material world is like jail. So understanding that we should not try to become comfortable here. Because what the jiva's tendency, a jiva is ignorant, who doesn't have the spiritual knowledge, he always try to adjust the situation. Whatever problems happen, we tell no rebound, all these things, right? All these things are actually from a spiritual perspective, it doesn't make much sense, right? So whatever we try to do, right, even if you become better, it is only like upgrading from third class jail to first class jail, right? We can move from third class jail to first class jail. That's all. We get a good body of a great person or an emperor or somebody famous. So it is like we are still controlled by the modes of material nature, and still we go through the birth, death, old age, and disease. Nobody can get out of this, whatever be the stage. So don't try to become upgrade from third class to first class jail, right? Really, a person who is independent, is intelligent, he actually he tries to get out of this jail itself. That is an intelligent person, right? So, and also don't try to understand. Remember the analogy of reflection in the water, right? So don't try to pluck the fruit in the reflection. So, and then also try to remember that we are the lost sons of the richest father, right? So just what all that we have to do is that take shelter of the Supreme Lord, right, through a guru, and start our journey back. Right? So this way, when we take shelter of the spiritual master and Paramatma who is there in the heart, right? The Paramatma is a Chaitya Guru. Since when we become sincere in our attempt, he sends a real Guru who is manifested as his Lord's representative, in a bona fide sampradaya. That Guru actually can deliver you. So take shelter of the Guru and follow the process of devotional service. By that, actually, we can get out of this temporary material illusionary world, and get out of the sufferings which are caused by the mind and senses. And then we can regain our constitutional position of serving the Lord in the spiritual world. So that with that, actually, we come to the end of today's discussion. So if anybody has any questions, they can unmute and ask or put in the chat. But meanwhile, we'll chant 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Krishna devotees, anybody has any questions? Okay, then if no questions, then I hope everybody is able to understand the topic, and we'll end here. We'll meet again tomorrow. So I would like to thank again all devotees for joining regularly. Hare Krishna.